Asa Philip Randolph was born on April 15, 1889, in Crescent City, Florida, to James and Elizabeth Randolph, who were staunch supporters of African American equal rights. Randolph's involvement in the civil rights movement started during World War I, when he and Chandler Owen founded a newspaper called The Messenger that called for more positions in the war industry and armed forces for African Americans. In 1925, he founded the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters. It became the first African American labor union to be included in the American Federation of Labor in 1937. Though Randolph removed his union from the Federation due to unchecked discrimination within its ranks. When the U.S. entered World War II, Randolph threatened to march on Washington unless President Roosevelt increased African American employment in federal jobs. This caused Roosevelt to sign Executive Order 8802, which barred discrimination in the defense industries and established the first Fair Employment Practices Committee. After World War II, Randolph created the League for Nonviolent Civil Disobedience Against Military Segregation, which led to President Truman signing Executive Order 9981, banning segregation in the armed forces. In 1955, Randolph became a vice president for the recently merged American Federation of Labor and the Congress of Industrial Organization. While still fighting against discrimination in the council, Randolph founded the Negro American Labor Council in 1959 and presided over it till 1966. Randolph's crowning achievement was when he was the principal organizer for the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom in 1963. He spoke to a crowd of more than 250,000 people.
Negroes want the same things that white citizens possess. All of their rights. They want no reservations. They want complete equality, social, economic, and political. And no force under the sun can stem and block and stop this civil rights revolution which is now under. I think history was written today which will have its effect on coming generations with respect to our democracy, with respect to our ideals, with respect to the great struggle of man toward freedom and human dignity.
He also stood alongside Martin Luther King Jr. when he gave his I Have a Dream speech. Randolph was one of the handful of civil rights leaders that had the opportunity to meet with President Kennedy. The following year, Randolph was presented with the Presidential Medal of Freedom in recognition for all his civil rights efforts. Randolph retired from all his positions along with his public life in 1968 due to high blood pressure and heart problems. He then moved from Harlem to New York City's Chelsea neighborhood, where he died in 1979 at the age of 90.